If you have been following this particular platform, you realize that I've been giving you updates about what is really happening at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border. But then it seems like all of these things that we've been talking about, the border crisis, the Ghana's border crisis with Burkina Faso, and even the last time we reported right here on this particular platform that about 17 soldiers who claim that they are from Burkina Faso, and then they lost their way. They found themselves in Ghana, and also they were hiding in Ghana's forest, and ultimately Ghana's army moved in so quickly, arrested them, and ultimately deported them back to Burkina Faso. We are learning the weapons and things that they had. It was returned to the Burkina Faso army after both diplomats from countries, both diplomats from all the countries, I'm talking about Burkina Faso diplomats together with Ghanaian diplomats, they actually engaged in talks and realized that, you know what, we will take our men back from Ghana, and also we'll also take their weapons, and also sign basically some sort of understanding or MOU that we will not let our army cross over to your country again. Now, we reported again that just after that particular incident, it was reported that a military aircraft was hovering around Ghana's border with Burkina Faso again. But in this time around, the military aircraft was basically hovering around Paga. Paga is in the northern part of Ghana, and we learned that the commander, together with the youth in that particular area, seized that particular aircraft. And then moment after, we learned that a call came from above, order from above, and the commander who joined the youth in seizing that aircraft, the commander was transferred, the helicopter was given back to the US Marshal, and ultimately the case was closed. So the big question is, what is really happening now? In light of all of these, immediately after this particular military aircraft saga, US military aircraft saga at Paga, we heard the next day we heard that attempted coup d'etat again was going on in Burkina Faso. Now, before I even continue, or before we continue with whatever we have for you today, this particular man on the screens, watch his face very well. This is the man apparently who is in talks with the France government, or the French government, and we are also learning that the United States of America is also planning to do an operation in Burkina Faso. So what we are learning is that they are using Ghana's base. Apparently, hypothetically, we are learning that the United States of America may be just hovering around Ghana's northern part, so that perhaps whatever they want to do in Burkina Faso, perhaps they can get a foothold and do it well. Now, these basically are things that have not been confirmed, so we'll treat all of these things very much with a pinch of salt. But one thing that has been confirmed that very soon we'll be watching videos is the attempted coup d'etat on Ibrahim Traore, and also the government of Ibrahim Traore. Now, we're putting a whole lot of things on the screens, and these things that we're putting on the screens basically will tell us and will also give us more insight as to what really happened, and even the way forward and what is really going on. Now, as we said earlier on, the man on the screens, we are learning that he apparently is the person all this particular coup d'etat which was going on, the French government and also the United States government were trying to influence him, or they influenced him to do this particular coup d'etat. His name, we are learning, is Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba. He is the person apparently who was part of the people who was staging this coup d'etat to oust Burkina Faso's president Ibrahim Traore. So before we even proceed further, we'll be putting this on the screens, and this basically is giving us more angles as to what went on, what is really going on, and even the way forward. Because as we said earlier on, we have videos and pictures of the attempted coup d'etat, which we are now learning is being fought or has been fought after the swift intervention of the Burkina Faso army, and also the people, the citizens, said that they will not allow Ibrahim Traore to be deposed. So this is coming from the AES state, as you can see on the screen. Say failed coup d'etat attempts, or failed coup d'etat in Burkina Faso. Intelligence services have tracked down all conspirators. The audios are starting to come out, and many are already in people's bag. In the recordings, you hear from here, Damiba was clearly planning the destruction of the drones that saved the lives of the FDS in order to carry out their dirty work. He also claims and remains convinced that the population wouldn't dare come out, given a shock it will cause within the army and population. So now the Sahel State, okay, the Association of Sahel States, one of their pages on Facebook, on Twitter, actually announced that this coup d'etat we are hearing that may have gone on, or which happened, which perhaps we'll say which was nearly a successful attempt in Burkina Faso, was being done in conjunction with some people around Burkina Faso's military president Ibrahim Traore and the French government and also the United States government. Now, Bongo Ideas posted this together with the video. He says, "Forget African solidarity. If America wants to capture Ibrahim Traore, he will be covered. He will be covertly airlifted away in split seconds, with citizens having no idea what has happened until some days later. He is not the target." So we are now learning that after all of these things happen, the attempted coup d'etat happened in Burkina Faso. Many are saying that perhaps, looking at the recent engagement or the recent mission that the United States did in Venezuela, it could perhaps it could be said that United States of America could now be targeting certain Sahel states, and the United States of America will basically say that these states are actually a problem to the national security of the United States of America, or to the security of the United States of America. Now, the Sahel Revolutionary Soldier on X posted, "It's 1 a.m. in Burkina Faso, and Burkinabe have just woken up from their sleep and headed to the presidential palace to see what protection they can offer Captain Ibrahim Traore from the imperial agents seeking to overthrow him. They came out in thousands." So now we are learning that this particular coup d'etat that nearly happened, which was being fought, we are learning that the people, the Burkina Faso or the Burkinabe people, said that they want Ibrahim Traore to lead. The person that they want Ibrahim Traore to lead is the person that they want to lead, or the president that they want to lead Burkina Faso is Captain Ibrahim Traore. Now, we will be putting certain things on the screens because now we have we put in another video asset from the Burkina Faso's, one of Burkina Faso's national television, announcing what just happened 48 hours ago, when it was being rumored, or it was being reported, that there was an attempted coup d'etat on Burkina Faso's president Ibrahim Traore's life. And now we don't know the linkage between the US, the France, and also the operation that went on in Venezuela. So let's take a listen to this particular video. When we come back, we are hearing that this is the English version. When we come back, we'll be diving more. We have videos, we have pictures, we have certain statements from certain notable people who are of the view that whatever is going on in Burkina Faso, maybe Africa and also Ghana, and also everyone should be alarmed, because whatever is going on is a planned attack to make sure that they remove Captain Ibrahim Traore from power.
Tiempo Amoro Square became the gathering point for several hundred people from Bobo Dioulasso. Under the leadership of the Citizen Watch OUE section, they came out to resist, according to them, yet another coup attempt, yet another attempt to overthrow the MPSR2 government. Protesters who say not to weaken in their fight to support Captain Ibrahim Traore as well as the entire government. A report by Ismaël Saturn Paris.
For Captain Ibrahim Traore, no hour is too late to call for mobilization, not even at 11 p.m. And it's a strong mobilization of the people of Bobo. On the night of January 3rd, into the early morning of the 4th, at Tifo Amos Square, under the leadership of the group's Civic Vigilance, the protesters are sending a message. No destabilization of the power of their iconic leader tonight.
January 3rd, 2026, we learn with great sadness, with much bitterness, that the enemies of the nation have once again tried to kill us, to halt the triumphant march of the Burkinabe people toward their full sovereignty. And we have come out to remind all those who are clinging to power and who think they can drag us back into the crowd, that they will drag us back into the suffering we are trying to leave behind. The entire Burkinabe people have said no. We do not agree, and we condemn with all our might any attempt to destabilize the people's power, which is that of the MPSRB, under the inspired leadership of Comrade Captain Ibrahim Traore.
The false gravediggers have organized themselves once again. After witnessing several failed attempts, they have armed themselves with courage. Once again, they sought to orchestrate another audacious coup d'etat, which was bravely and skillfully foiled by truly capable and dedicated men. Because when Captain Ibrahim Traore arrived, it was told to the people of the whole world that he surrounded himself with capable men to save Burkina Faso. These men swore, together with the people of Burkina Faso, that Captain Ibrahim Traore is the apple of our eye. Today, the coup d'etat was successfully foiled.
We turned out in large numbers. In Borod-Ilesson, we are currently right at the square. For citizen vigilance, the actions of the MPSR2 are tangible. Burkina Faso is on a positive path of development, and we must stay the course against all odds.
I don't know how anyone could be against this man who has given everything for this country. You have to see the development that has been underway for the past 2 to 3 years. So, yes, young people of Burkina Faso, this is what we say to them. Damn.
We simply made a call to this youth, a youth that is aware.
That's one part of the report which is coming in. Now let's put this on the screens. It says it's 1 a.m. in Burkina Faso, and Burkinabés have woken up from their sleep and headed to the presidential palace to see the protection they can offer Captain Ibrahim Traore. Now this is just one of the many posts which is coming from Burkina Faso. Immediately that aircraft was spotted around Ghana's border. The next thing we heard was, the US aircraft was spotted between Ghana and Burkina Faso's border. The next thing we heard was an attempted coup d'etat which was fought. Again, the Sahel Revolutionary Soldier posted, the objective in the coup attempt in Burkina Faso last night was clear: to strike the heart of power, physically eliminate Captain Ibrahim Traore and 11 of his loyal companions, and then plunge the country into chaos. Before then, the narrow circle of present security system has not betrayed the cause of the people. Their competent and rigorous intelligence made the operation a failure. Commander Umo Yabre faithful to his mission. So this is just one of the things, or one of the posts which is coming in, which kind of suggests that whatever is really going on is something that the people of Burkina Faso said, we don't want you to oust this leader, we want him to be our president, and that is Captain Ibrahim Traore. Now let's also put this on the screens again. It says the imperialists plan to do a Venezuela part 2 in Burkina Faso yesterday. So we are learning that what the United States of America successfully did in Venezuela, captured its president, sent the president to the United States of America to face justice. France also wants to replicate that by also arresting Ibrahim Traore, taking him to France, and also, kind of running the country back. Now, it goes on to say this was organized by the previous failed leader, Paul Henry Damiba, and his imperialist master. The plan was similar to the one they executed under Sankara to kill all the inner circle of Ibrahim Traore. Needless to say, the plans failed miserably. The Burkinabe people were having none of it, and the plotters were all arrested. So we are learning that the people who kind of staged this particular coup d'etat which was being fought, all of them have been arrested. As we were telling you earlier, the man at the center of this particular coup d'etat is this particular man, Damiba. We'll be getting into more details about him shortly. We got into more details. We also touch on him briefly. Now let's also move on to what many of the posts which is coming about this particular reported coup d'etat in Burkina Faso. It says here, major updates. Reports confirm a coup d'etat has been decisively thwarted. The alleged mastermind and known associate of former President Damiba has been arrested. This action demonstrates the strength and vigilance of our security forces. Stability and sovereignty remain intact. Our support remains with President and the people of Burkina Faso. So this is exactly what we are learning. So the man on the far, left of the screens, he apparently is the person who led this coup d'etat, and ultimately it was being forward. And we are learning that the people that he was planning this particular coup d'etat with, all of them have been arrested. So it is a very tricky thing, and in the midst of all of these issues which is going on around the world, the president of Venezuela, his arrest, and issues going on, everyone is kind of on edge, because it could be your country's president, especially if the West, talking about Europe, China, Europe, America, and also the UK, if they say, or they are continuing spilling the narrative that you are a threat to our national security, what it means is that ultimately they will come for you. So this perhaps is just one of the many things which is really going on, and then we are looking into this case closely to see what will happen, or perhaps the way forward, because as it is now, almost all presidents in various nationalities, all of them are on edge, because the military prowess of the United States of America cannot be matched. So if you can't beat them, or if you can't match them, then it means if they are coming for you, you tend to be helpless, and that is exactly what is really going on. So we are following all of these cases, we are monitoring events, and ultimately we'll be giving you more updates as all of these various events continue to unfold. You can also bring in your comments, be reading your comments. Those of you who are just joining us, the breaking news, or the news which is coming in since yesterday, indicates that there has been an attempted coup d'etat in Burkina Faso, but ultimately this coup d'etat has been foiled, and what we are learning is that the people behind it have all been arrested. So that is exactly what is really going on in terms of Burkina Faso, and even the way forward. Now, we reported right here on this particular platform that the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, has been arrested. Now, the pictures that you are watching on the screens are live pictures when he was taken today to the New York District Court to face charges. Now, the Venezuela president Maduro is being charged with staying in power, a whole lot of criminal proceeds, he transporting drugs, and a whole lot of things. Now, in regards with this particular thing, there are more angles to this, and many nations are reacting. And there's a video of when President Maduro was arrived in America. As you can see, he's been accosted by the Drug Enforcement Agency, which is known in the United States of America as the DEA. So these authorities were among the Delta forces that led the capture of President Maduro. Now, in all of these things that is really going on, we are learning that Ghana as a country, unfortunately, we are not minding our business. We are and we are not minding our business. And then our foreign minister here in Ghana is very much pissed, and he is of the view that whatever happened in Venezuela is a breach of international rule of law. And because of this particular breach, basically what is happening is that the US, the Ghana has condemned these actions by the United States of America. And I'll be putting this on the screens because, interestingly, there are various angles to all of these things which is really going on. And one angle to this is that many people in Ghana are of the view that we need to actually take ourselves apart from this particular controversy which is really going on. But regardless, let's put this on the screens. As you can see, this is a post which came from the foreign minister of Ghana, Samuel Okudzeto-Blakwa, and then it reads here: government of Ghana's position on the US unilateral and unauthorized invasion of Venezuela. Yes. So as you can see, according to the foreign minister Okudzeto-Blakwa is saying that whatever happened in Venezuela was a breach of national peace, was a breach of international rule of law, and then they are calling for the immediate release of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro. Now let's read this. He says Ghana alarmed and deploys military invasion of Venezuela by the United States of America and its subsequent abduction of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. So basically, what the Ghana government is saying in this particular letter, which was dated on the 1st of January 2026, is that the abduction, the US military getting into Venezuela, arresting Nicolas Maduro and the wife, that's the president of Venezuela and the first lady, is something that Ghana is not happy with. And then we are saying that the U.S. Army and the U.S. president should quickly return Nicolas Maduro and the wife back to their country, because what they did is against international rule of law. Now, it goes on to say the government of Ghana, the government of the Republic of Ghana, is alarmed at the unilateral and unauthorized invasion of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela by the United States of America, and the subsequent abduction of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores in the early hours of Saturday, 3rd of January 2026. Now, it goes on further to say Ghana expresses strong reservations against unilateral use of force and strongly deplores such acts that violate the Charter of the United Nations and international law, as well as the sovereignty, as well as the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence of the state. So now Ghana is saying that Venezuela is a state on its own. They have the right to elect their own leader. They have the right to govern and go by their own rules. If the US is not comfortable with it, the US can perhaps be in their country and make their case at the ICC, the International Criminal Court, or take their case to the UN. But the US can't unilaterally invade a country, arrest the president, and also arrest the first lady. For what reasons? According to the US, this man, Maduro, is engaged in drug-related activities, and also he is a security threat, or is a threat to the national security of the United States of America. And Ghana is now saying that whatever happened, they are not in support of this, and then they are protesting this particular arrest. Now, it goes on to say that the Ghanaian government is keenly following the situation in Venezuela with great concern, and notes that such assaults on international law, attempts at the occupation of foreign territories, and apparent external control of oil reserves have extremely adverse implications on international stability and the global order. So Ghana is saying that we are also now monitoring whatever is going on in Venezuela with very great concern, because the US basically said they did this because of drug-related activities. But then, if you listen to the speech that Donald Trump gave, Donald Trump said that they did this basically because of oil. In a nutshell, they went to Venezuela, arrested the president because they want Venezuela's oil. Now, it goes on further to say the Ghanaian government is keenly, I've read that part. It goes on to say that Ghana also notes with deep concern statement by US President Donald Trump that the US will run Venezuela until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition, and the US and that US large oil companies will be asked to go in. So Ghana is now saying that the statement that United States of America's President Donald Trump said, basically this statement was that the United States will run Venezuela. The argument and also the notion, by Ghana, or the statement by the United States of America, Ghana views this as very extreme, because you can't run Venezuela. If you are claiming that Maduro has done something which is not right, basically what you can do is basically to arrest him and then perhaps allow a free and fair election so that the people of Venezuela can handle their own affairs. But then if you're not doing this and then you want to run a foreign country, it is illegal. You are breaking the international rule of law, and Ghana is actually protesting this, especially with the fact that US President Donald Trump also said that US large oil companies will be asked to go into Venezuela. Now, these declarations are reminiscent of the colonial and imperialist era. They set a dangerous precedent for the global order. Such colonial ambitions should have no place in the post-Second World War era. To allow this is to put international community at great risk and undermine the sovereignty of every country. Ghana therefore reaffirms its commitment to the principle of self-determination and holds the firm view that only Venezuelan people should freely determine their political and democratic future. Ghana calls for immediate de-escalation and the release of President Maduro and his wife. The government of Ghana shall maintain and defend its long-held principled position against invasion, occupation, colonialism, apartheid, disregard for sovereign, and all forms of violations of the international law. And this came to all media houses. So if you take it for the if you are taking it from the last about 3 paragraphs, what Ghana is saying here is that basically what the US is doing is taking us back to the Cold War era. Okay, and during this particular post Second World War era or the Cold War era, a nation will just go in and then a strong nation will go and perhaps pounce on a nation that has low military power and then take over and then abduct the country and then perhaps say this is now a new territory. Or if Ghana was to be a big country, Ghana would just storm Benin, take over Benin and name and say that now Benin is part of Ghana. And this is a post Second World War era, which should never have been, which should never go on, because we are trying to move on from that kind of mentality. But here, the United States of America is setting a precedent. Russia is doing the same to Ukraine. China wants to do the same thing to Vietnam or Taiwan. And now the United States of America is also doing the same thing to Venezuela. Very soon, all big countries will be following suit, abducting smaller countries and making it their own. And Ghana, according to the Foreign Minister, Okudu Blackwell, strongly protests these kind of things. So that is exactly what is going on. And clearly, Ghana is actually protesting this. Now, in aid of all of these, in aid of all of these things, what we can say here is that perhaps many people are catching on with this particular fever, because new reports coming in from many parts of the world, especially people who are pundits, people who are scholars, who are political scientists, are now coming out to say that what the United States of America is doing in Venezuela is not something that perhaps it's not something that should be, watched on. We should look at this thing with very great concern, because at the end of the day, what Trump is doing, or what the United States of America is doing, is basically because of oil. It's simply because of oil and nothing else. Now, we'll be watching this particular video, which came from Sky News. A Sky News reporter or a Sky News journalist said that he's lived through all of this era, and then he was born and bred in Guyana, which is a country relative to Venezuela, or which shares border with Venezuela, and he knows what we call imperialism, and also he's seen this kind of playbook before. So let's just take a listen to what he said. When we come back, we continue.
Forgive me if I begin 2026 on a personal note. To all intents and purposes, this morning Venezuela is an American colony. I've got mixed feelings about that. Whatever the White House says, I don't think this is really about drugs. It's about oil. Full disclosure, my family came to England from Guyana, the country next door to Venezuela. It's where I grew up and where I went to school. It's also where I learnt to handle a rifle. For almost 2 centuries, Venezuela has claimed more than half of Guyana's territory, the Essequibo region, as its own. My generation grew up preparing for an invasion. But I don't think anyone really thought we'd go to war over impenetrable rainforest. And then, in 2015, American companies hit oil in Guyanese waters. At 30 billion barrels, it's one of the biggest oil finds in decades. Unsurprisingly, Caracas immediately rediscovered its enthusiasm for Guyanese territory, even redrawing the map of Venezuela sent to every school to include Essequibo. So I don't think there's much doubt what is driving Mr. Trump's military adventure. He wants to protect America's vast oil interests in the region and to feed his refineries with Venezuelan crude. And if that means upsetting the international rules-based order, I don't think Mr. Trump will be too bothered. After all, American presidents, including Democrats like Kennedy and Obama, have always been clear on one thing. The first rule of the rules-based order is that America makes the rules to suit America.
So this was exactly what this particular pundit said, and as you can see, there are major concern as to what will happen. Now, regardless, there are some protests which have actually started going on, and this particular protest, the video of this particular protest will be watching. This will call themselves Venezuela Solidarity Campaign in Nigeria, and they are saying the U.S. hands off in Venezuela. So let's take a look at this particular demonstration. When we come back, we'll continue.
When people take over, all oppression, then go run away. When people take over.
Viva Venezuela! Viva! From the Venezuela Solidarity Campaign in Nigeria, a campaign platform of socialists, trade unions, civil society, youth group, workers from informal and informal sector. We bring solidarity to the people of the Venezuela working class and the Venezuela working people who are passing through aggression from the United States empire. It is no news that as we speak now, more than 50,000 United States soldiers have been deployed, and a lot of fighter jets, including warships, have been mobilized to the Caribbean Sea across Latin America. The lies from the Trump government is that they want to go and fight drugs in Venezuela. So they declare Maduro, President Maduro, and many of his cabinet members, many of the PASOK members, the ruling party, the socialist ruling party in Venezuela, as a threat to the US. We all know that this is live. They did it to Gaddafi in Libya. They did it in Syria. They did it in Afghanistan. The funniest thing about Afghanistan was that even when their puppet was in power for 20 years and America was fighting Taliban, they cannot even develop Afghanistan. Neither do they even solve any problem for the people of Afghanistan. We all know that it is one of the important things we must know is that Venezuela is sitting on the highest oil reserve in the world. Venezuela oil remains the only country that have enough highest oil reserve, and this is why the US is going to Venezuela to start a war where there is no war. We are calling on Nigerian working people, we are calling on the people of the world to call on President Trump to stop his aggression against the Venezuelan people, Colombia, Nicaragua, Cuba, and all other countries that but most importantly that I want to stress out about this ongoing international campaign, because as we are here now, more than 70 in America, people across 17 cities are also protesting. In Europe, in South Africa, in Ghana, people are protesting against US war in Venezuela. One thing that I want Nigerians to know and people to know, people of the world to know, is that the war in Venezuela is about oil. And there is nothing, the only thing that can stop the war is by the people by rising against Trump's administration. The reality is also that when there are issues of oil, America wants to go there and plunder. Not America now, because all of them are America. The United States remain a capitalist empire who kills, when they preach human rights, today is international human rights, but when they even preach human rights, you realize that what they do in the United States has something to do with human rights. On the election, I want to say something. I used to tell people, what they are doing in America is not election. What they do is money bags protesting against money bags. And it's important to stress it that whatever it was, the United States government have no right to intervene in internal affairs of any other country like Venezuela. And it is important to also stress that the Venezuelan people are ready to confront the monsters of imperialism. And as we speak, the Congress in the United States has not been briefed upon the actions Trump has been taking. And so on this note, I said that we will continue to support all the campaign against imperialism anywhere in the world. We will continue to stand with the Bolivarian Revolution. We will continue to stand with President Maduro and all Venezuelan people who are opposing to the crisis of to the global capitalist crisis. On this, I said, Aluta continua. Venezuela is not a threat.
Venezuela is the future. The coalition of civil societies in Nigeria have gathered to show solidarity to the peoples of Venezuela against oppression, against harassment from capitalists, especially the US-led government. Venezuela is not a threat.
Venezuela is the future.
Venezuela is the future.
Venezuela is not a threat.
Venezuela is not a threat. Venezuela is the future. Venezuela is not a threat.
Venezuela is the future.
Venezuela is not a threat.
Venezuela is the future.
We no to war in Venezuela.
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 Viva Venezuela.
Viva.
Viva Nigeria.
Viva.
Viva humanity.
Viva.
Yes, we are here today in solidarity to the good people of Venezuela. We are saying no to war. We are saying no to capitalism. We are saying no to oppression. We are saying no to every policies that US government are pushing against the good people of Venezuela. It's against democratic norms. Today is the 77th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. As we commemorate this landmark achievement in 1948, we, the people of Nigeria today, extend our solidarity to our brothers and our sisters in Venezuela, and we are saying no to war. Viva Venezuela! Viva! Viva Nigeria!
Viva.
Talk about the
So yeah, that was the demonstration that went on. Sorry for the brief pause, but that was the demonstration that went on. And as you can see, many people are not happy with the event or the turn of events, and then there has been a massive demonstration. Now, meanwhile, Captain Ibrahim Traore, he is of the view that whatever is going on, Africa, this is the time that we need to come together. Yes, this is the time that Africa we need to come together to stop all of these things. So he actually made this speech when he met the AES states there, because the AES states have made him basically like their basically like their president. So we have the African Union, and also we have the ECOWAS. We have the ECOWAS secretary, we have the ECOWAS, the AU secretary, or the AU president. So the Association of Sahel states, which includes Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and the likes, they have made Captain Ibrahim Traore their president. And then he made a speech which kind of shows that the aim of the AES to actually expand and bring all African countries together. And I believe that this particular statement was one that triggered the US, or perhaps what triggered France, and also inspired this particular recent coup d'etat. Because as you know, Kwame Nkrumah was actually dethroned because he wanted to push an agenda of the United States of Africa, which the US and the West and also Europe saw it as a threat. So let's take a listen to the speech, the poignant speech that Captain Ibrahim Traore gave. He actually said this in French, but then there's a version that follows, or there's a translator that translates everything. We'll come back immediately after this.
Why are we blacks trying to incite hatred among us? And by hypocrisy, we call ourselves brothers. We must be able to tell the truth in a very crude way, even if it is disgusting. We will apologize, but we must wake up. Why is blackness like this? Why can't we see the danger coming, unite and prevent it? Why do we have to face this danger? They risk decimating us. The others have closed their ears. They pretend not to hear the politics of Austria. Peoples are complacent in colonization. They love this domination. If they don't call the imperialists, come and colonize us. We don't even want to be your slaves. We often ask ourselves questions when we see their reactions. These brainless intellectuals who have been here all day have started debates in total indignity, in total dishonesty, as if they don't see the reality of the examples presented to them. There are many examples when democracy does certain things contrary to the rules it has set. They close their eyes, but they are ready to call us youth or putschists. But be sure of one thing. We are united and we will remain united. And we must open our eyes. Hello, dear brothers and sisters. Hello, dear parents. First of all, I would like to apologize to the Tahitian population. They waited for us yesterday, and God wanted it to be today, and we are here. For this, we thank you for all the good deeds and this wonderful day that we are here in Bamako for the second session of the College of State, leaders of the Confederation of AES. I would also like to pay tribute to our valiant combatant, forces who are doing a colossal job on the ground and who allow us to be here today to commune in the name of our populations. I would like to apologize once again to those whom my words could offend, because I will not go by the back of the stone. We are going to attack the words that mime Africa. You have certainly all heard of the Arab Spring. This phenomenon that has shaken the geopolitics of the Arab world, starting with the Maghreb in Africa and up to Asia. It has manifested itself with often disastrous consequences, deaths and divisions in some places, and unprecedented political upheavals in other places. I think that all Africans should understand what this phenomenon is, where it comes from, and what must be done to prevent such a phenomenon. Unfortunately, we regret to see that some Africans do not wake up. What I want to say is that my thought, my analysis, is that there is something that comes from West Africa, which I call the Black Winter. The Black Winter is coming. It will be a very cold winter, a bloody winter, a murderous winter. You are going to ask me why. Well, in founding the Confederation of AES, we felt this cold coming. And every day that God does, we get up to find tree trunks to light a fire that will warm the hearts of Africans, a fire that will warm the minds and the blood of Africans to unite us all. We are also prepared to hunt wolves to try, to use their skin to make coats to protect us from the cold of winter. We are prepared to build mountains, large mountains to break the wind of winter and to defeat our communities. Unfortunately, we are forced to see that some blacks are there every day to water our tree trunks with fresh water so that they cannot burn. They turn into wolves to make sure that we, the hunters of wolves, cannot take over the wolf. When we want to build our mountains, they break the rocks so that we cannot get there. However, winter is coming, and when winter comes, we should allow those who fight to come and protect themselves with our coats that we have made, with the mountains that we have built to protect us from the wind, or to warm themselves with us around the fire. This is the question that we must ask ourselves. What will come of Pan-Africanism when winter comes? Winter will come because war is being transported to West Africa. The imperialists do everything to set West Africa on fire and blood. But from the top of the state to certain populations, either we pretend not to see the danger coming, or we are ourselves accomplices to what is going to happen. Chaos could set in. I said it could set in. Many people could die. We are going to kill each other in such an atrocious way that during this time, they will be there to plunder our wealth, to impose their will, and those who will survive this tragedy will have only two choices: either to unite against imperialism forever, or to end up as slaves until they disappear. So we must prevent ourselves from winter, the coming black winter. We cannot understand that there are blacks in West Africa here, afraid that the terrorists will kill black populations. We cannot understand that cowardly heads of state hide behind the so-called media to discourage insult and incite hatred among the populations. These individuals who are on their plateau, who every morning and evening spit out their toxic venom to incite hatred among the communities, are generally very vile. With their miserable faces, they know how to do that. Look at them. They are here with the eyes of wild Drossophiles, spitting out poison every day. They are trying to divide the community. On social media, they are there, and they are numerous. Why are we blacks trying to incite hatred among us? And by hypocrisy, we call ourselves brothers. We must be able to tell the truth in a very crude way, even if it is disgusting. We will apologize, but we must wake up. Why is blackness like this? Why can't we see the danger coming, unite and prevent it? Why do we have to face this danger? They risk decimating us. The others have closed their ears. They pretend not to hear the politics of Austria. Peoples are complacent in colonization. They love this domination. If they don't call the imperialists, come and colonize us. We don't even want to be your slaves. We often ask ourselves questions when we see their reactions. These brainless intellectuals who have been here all day have started debates in total indignity, in total dishonesty, as if they don't see the reality of the examples presented to them. There are many examples when democracy does certain things contrary to the rules it has set. They close their eyes, but they are ready to call us youth or putschists. But be sure of one thing. We are united and we will remain united. And we must open our eyes. The AES will evolve. Everything is not necessarily pink. Everything cannot go at the rhythm we want. But we are moving forward, calmly, and we will reach our goal. And when winter comes, if we have to go through winter to be free, to be united, we pray to God that it will be so and that He will protect our population. Otherwise, one thing is certain, the AES will win, the AES will grow. Stay calm, because we have confidence in our population. We have confidence in you, that you understand that no manipulation can divide us today. No manipulation can lead us to hate other people. No manipulation can lead us to respond in a physical way to these individuals who have understood absolutely nothing. Stay calm. Do not respond physically. We will respond by communication until they change their own modes of action. And we will also respond according to the modes of action. Stay calm. God will protect the AES. God protects you all the population of the AES. God accompanies you all in your goals. And God, who is so just, fights for those who fight. We, our fighters, we are a resilient population, the most resilient of the sub-region. Nobody would have believed that you could stand what you are living. We will overcome terrorism. We will develop and we will assert ourselves. We will have our place in the concert of the world. May God bless the AES. May God bless our resilient and resistant population. May God unite us more, the country or death. Thank you.
Merci. Merci. Merci infiniment. Merci à vous. Des mots de remerciement.
Le pouvoir, c'est la capacité à changer de toutes les événements. Parce que vous vous battez jour et nuit jusqu'à l'ultime. Vous vous battez pour la dignité de nos ancêtres et de la future génération. C'est objectif.
Merci, Soumano. Merci beaucoup. Des mots de remerciement adressés à ses homologues du Burkina Faso et du Niger, le salut particulier aux partenaires sincères de la Confédération AES, le rappel du bien fondé de la création de l'AES, le renouvellement avec fermeté de son engagement en faveur d'un Sahel uni, souverain et prospère, la mise en évidence des prouesses engagées au cours de sa présidence à la tête de la Confédération la minute de silence en hommage à ceux qui sont bien sûr arrivés au sacrifice ultime pour la patrie. Ce sont ces quelques points que nous retenons du discours d'ouverture de cette deuxième session. Excellence, Monsieur le Président de la Transition, chef de l'État de la République du Mali, président de la Confédération AES, nous vous demandons très respectueusement de lever la séance.
La séance est levée.
Merci de suivre les directives du protocole pour le retrait. La cérémonie de clôture, c'est à 15 heures. Nous vous prions de suivre les directives du protocole pour éviter les désagréments. Merci de suivre le plan de retrait proposé par le protocole.
Alors, Assimi Goïta a fait le bilan. Et un bilan de la présidence malienne, on ne peut plus clair, on ne peut plus éloquent. Il y a des progrès qui ont été faits. Et du point de vue défense et sécurité, avec la remise officielle de l'étendard de la force unifiée qui comporte 5000 hommes, servira de rempart dans cette lutte contre le terrorisme. Et enfin, le président en exercice de cette confédération demande au peuple AES de se sentir fier, puisque le combat ne vient que de commencer et la victoire sera au rendez-vous. Koke Kone.
Jamana kuntigi saba in donné min ye an ka assemblée instrumentale ye olu ye ka dɔ kɛnɛ dayɛlɛ ni u ka fɔli ye o tɛmɛnen kɔ ka bɔ yen nɔ min ye ka dɔ ka fɔ ja dɔ yirala na baaraba minnu kɛra san kelen in kɔnɔna na général baara camanbaw de kɛ o la o baara camanbaw ka dɔ maaw ye o jaabi ye bi ni fɛn caman ye o kuma sɔɔni dɔrɔn
Now, brothers and sisters, the AES summit has finally ended, and the president of Burkina Faso was there, the president of Mali was there, the president of Niger was there. So we can say it was a successful summit. Now, brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts on this video? Subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to leave your comments on the comment section below. Thank you.
When people take over, all oppression,
from the Venezuela Solidarity Campaign in Nigeria, a campaign platform of socialist trade unions, civil society, youth group, workers from informal and informal sector. We bring solidarity to the people of the Venezuela working class and the Venezuela working people who are passing through aggression from the United States empire. It is no news that as we speak now, more than 50,000 United States soldiers have been deployed, and a lot of fighter jets, including warships, have been mobilized to the Caribbean Sea across Latin America. The lies from the Trump government is that they want to go and fight drugs in Venezuela. So they declare Maduro, President Maduro, and many of his cabinet members, many of the PASOK members, the ruling party, the socialist ruling party in Venezuela, as a threat to the US. We all know that this is lie. They did it to Gaddafi in Libya. They did it in Syria. They did it in Afghanistan. The funniest thing about Afghanistan alone was that even when the puppet was in power for 20 years and America was fighting Taliban, they cannot even develop Afghanistan. Neither do they even solve any problem for the people of Afghanistan. We all know that it is one of the important things we must know is that Venezuela is sitting on the highest oil reserve in the world. Venezuela oil remains the only country that have enough highest oil reserve, and this is why the US is going to Venezuela to start a war where there is no war. We are calling on Nigerian working people, we are calling on the people of the world to call on President Trump to stop his aggression against the Venezuelan people, Colombia, Nicaragua, Cuba, and all other countries that. But most importantly, that I want to stress out about this ongoing international campaign, because as we are here now, more than 70 in America, people across 17 cities are also protesting. In Europe, in South Africa, in Ghana, people are protesting against US war in Venezuela. One thing that I want Nigerians to know and people to know, people of the world to know, is that the war in Venezuela is about oil. And there is nothing, the only thing that can stop the war is by the people by rising against Trump's administration. The reality is also that when there are issues of oil, America wants to go there and plunder. Not America now, because all of them are America. The United States remain a capitalist empire who kills. When they preach human rights, today is international human rights. But when they even preach human rights, you realize that what they do.
Okay, so this is the people, or these are the group of people who were protesting, saying that hands off Venezuela, and these are Nigerians who are saying that whatever happened in Venezuela is something that should not happen again. So we are monitoring all of these issues. We'll definitely be giving you more updates as all of these various events continue to unfold. There are a lot of comments which have come, in regards to this particular topic. We'll make sure that I'll be giving you more updates in regards with all these particular issues and more updates into it. So that is exactly what is really going on right here in this particular country. I've seen the whole issue about Maduro and also Venezuela, and also Captain Ibrahim Traore is getting messy by this. So that is exactly what is going on. So we'll be giving you more updates as all of these various events continue to unfold. Unfortunately, we'll be transitioning to our local dialect, which is 3, for our other subsequent news. Actually, for Abranti Ohuno Ewo screens no see no Menoka saying he is at the center of a deep controversy. Papawi Ibia we ni in China so woni ma Papawi no oye boxer biba boxer ne ba boxer ye kan asem no bukum banku. Now for some time now na Abranti or trendy. No nya ne say oni obi nya kasa bukum, because you say bukum banku de bukum no wo. Now we are learning say oni Abranti ni nya kasa no in tokwan sa ena Abranti etwe sikan otwe sikan no ena che say odi twitwa eye Abranti ana nipa na one neko. In a minute no ye be hwe some of the videos about out, because you say sikan no odi twitwa no odi twitwa ni ti ho ene ne sre ho ni ade a asem no ekoye police case ti asem no koye police case a echi ye che ne ba no buku mbanku ne ba ne ye man bail ne ba ye o wasu so ye man bail no ye che ne pe na buku mbanku be hu ye che ne bail ne pe na buku mbanku be hu abofra na one ne kono abranti buku mbanku ba we ene ne kono nti ba ne sa na ko hu omo no na ka chom so ABCD na AC yinyi nim se di AC na nye me ba na nye ni yi but then asem ne be kokot e be jeli me ba no for 30-40 years die yen kan kum na sike bi wo ha metua ene busuafo ne so mo mpene obantimi ntwe skan enfan ndudwe edwa me ba na uwia omba ha embe kan kire me se yen kan kokum enkosa na mpenifo se ye be kan kokum kra na ni nyina no eye ahobrase ene kasa be kan omo ebo ebeto mu yim etiefo ankwane sa sansem we nyina ekoso no na eye buku mbanku according to ebusafo ensem ne ba o so yen yi asem ni fi police station yen kan ebusafo ne se omonti ase na buku mbanku make a statement say ono kra mahama kra ebonichi. So the family was like, wait, Mahama Wichi and Albana Nam Bukuma or Chisikai Edit Janko Fana. Family members Libya Kasa gave your friend say Ketsi a Jamestown TV. Tian share this particular video about Baka T for a better so.
Baby Clanty. Eke Jason police station. I just an ye hena keshe. Simito makebuko bankwa keke Mahama yes eka yakeboko man yeboko man se. Me anese Mahama ude. Mofia moni ba fe me ju ekula ba je cho mama. Ekboko banku ke yes. Me o me ke mama ke vote hale. E o keji e ba akwa ni ne ke violence ne. E ja no because every year be boko banku be ba feel. Every 1 year, 31st December, a beer bafio, and what can you let you on you? No, what can you say? Bella Chuame, a jacket, mamma, yes, a check, kayak, Mokoman, Jackafe Mokoman. 4 years, they got some.
Yenua be Kenya or Ken or patches and a ba ene a year a brainty ya Yadisikin Great Journey. Nabukumba who crowd by a pussy bibi or a casa any brasier because the Obana Yero ye shem brainy he needs to go to jail. He needs to go to jail. And a woman or can be in the long version of the interview say a reverse rose no and Uncle Bukum Banku and Uncle None Bana ye Bukum Banku sa Kabukam Banko bet now I am Shahana Kadebi and Kagana ha could be a bettening. It is the same way na ekosa we are learning say your friend is saying the issue no at the end of the day no ye shame native for on this same issue near ye abofrebia nano ye share no we share these two ladies on the screen omid dibone amayachiobo that same video be trending on social media our video trending on social media no two ladies were seen actually so omo bu abofra me pesa me kan bro for nyesa YouTube edit video ni nyina eden ebeba fem but also the video no so ye wo be yentimi show because YouTube uko show videos will be bu abofra once again ye ni nyina beba from on be catch us say e ya de a e abuse inti ne ye nkan no inti etie for video na wo screen so ye play but then video when ye bia sha inkofo yi omo twiaba e wa abofra we di just I think between 8 to 12 years and I ye bono to say comfort to say abano ye de hwe no aso bia ku wi ade de hwe ni team ne chi in fact nasty a video be ton bonti so na manfo ebisa say e ba ne se na bibi say etimisi eye omo ba na na eti say o issue bi na ni nyina ne say abofra no ana ye bono no sa two ladies yi bono abofra ketu yi apparently abofra no ne eye be me bi area boy bi a say ono so we di be 10 to 12 year ono ne kunye ene ntokwa no ntoka ne chi na ni sisters bi fu sa de nte na one be ma akụ oba de anko ne be ma akụ di anka wo say e bona ba supo because wa kire say yes oyobi an ani so e hye na ladies ko twen lady ifi ni fie small girl ifi ni fie omo ba no mo bro no I wish I could show the video but once again no yempe issues inti yentimi show uko Twitter na bo a obo say two ladies arrested over a new girl here obehu what ya say but then me no ka say information about says two ladies ya chiomo these are the two ladies show menim omo ma baby omo hairline ewo oma pempem enewo very dangerous wicked evil people but ya chiomo now according to what we are learning from the Ghana police in a press release here press statement omo dia ba no omo kire say girl ne maame ene ba ya obe reporti case no na etin for yen read the wa ha we a na ahwe press release na the Ghana police for omode ba ya eno so ye de betu screens no so into share say police arrest 2 women over alleged assault of a 12-year-old girl Allah. So here you be read the press release omode ba ye in here the intia omoche this particular 2 ladies na at the end of the day no I believe say mo amoshe no mo betime hu how this case is going on because obia nyina yeni edi insemnichi a it is enye insemkweto nti ye enlarge no or say police arrest 2 women over alleged assault of a 12-year-old girl at La. And on part number 1, the Accra Regional Police Command has arrested 2 women in connection with alleged assault of a 12-year-old girl at La Roman JHS area on Tuesday 30th December 2025. Domo chese police achisan krufu miunuwe se omaye omabo abofreya yesiwedi 12 years. Also, the incident was reported by the police by the mother of the victim who appeared at the station with her daughter bearing visible marks of assault. The complainant alleged that 3 women assaulted her daughter without any provocation. Ti epa chese woman no aye abofrana 12 years no one ne mama ne ko police station ne mama and then go police station say police for motion the me ba enkofu bi etu ahye me ba so abono na chain information e ba say wo mo bu abofre no omo ye miensa also upon receipt of the complaints, the police obtained a statement from the complainant and issued a police medical report form for the victim for medical examination. Tia one police for a man police medical report form so on hospital on media 74. Preliminary investigations revealed that earlier the same day, the victim had an altercation with 7-year-old boy identified as Home Gifan Mesope, who is also related to the suspect. Following the incident, the suspect allegedly went to the victim's house, brought her to their residence, and then assaulted her. Inti echom yese nipa girl yi ene no enya asem no abofre bia wedi 7 years. Bema na apparently no sa abofra na wedi 7 years no ne busuafo ene kwatwen sa girl ni finifia omobo na say so sad. 5. On Wednesday the 31st of December 2025, the complainant led the police to arrest 2 of the suspects identified as Precious Gifty Mesope, age 22, and Princess Giftan Mesope, age 25. The third suspect identified as Priscilla Novesha Wonyo, age 49, a fashion designer by profession, and the mother of the 2 arrested persons was reported to have traveled to the voter registration. One more with this abonne no bako your friend Princess Giftan and a bako so your friend Giftan Mesope bako the 20 Precious Giftan Precious need 22 years and a Princess need 25 years. Omo maame so yeso ka ho no mo di se nyamna sem no but maame ne de as a time a police for ba ho no na yeso tu kwan akọ voter race o ko yi o say okodan yenim. 6. The 2 arrested suspects have been formally charged and are currently in police custody assisting with the investigation. They will be put before the court on Monday, 5th January 2025. Police efforts are ongoing to locate and arrest the third suspect to aid the investigation. It's a part say currently so 2 ladies here can say we are taking them to court. And court are di omo na ye say they will face the full rigors of the law. And aside from that, to the third suspect or count, third person or count one. So that third person here or count we need ye say that third person or your mamia ye say then wako voter ready no send and send no kwani die ye meaning no but one party the police force or investigate. Now ye trust what has here or say the regional police command cautions the general public against resorting to violence in resolution of disputes and omode one and akoma the public. So that is exactly what is really going on now. Ultimately you could clearly see here say some course no so sad that police for no the one in aba nti you need indemnity and definitely you be more update as all of these various events no continue to unfold because in some way same be once again sad say abofra kete 12 years now 12 years we say you on 7 years boy enya asem no abona their ways are bit to resolve issues now we penny toto also wakwa akotwe aba kese abo abofra yi wo sister and your mommy atwash about for kitty we so abo. In fact, I wish I could show the video, but once again, no, it's too risky for us. It's you be see her say at the end of the day, no, you be more updates as all of these particular various events continue to unfold. So that is exactly what went on. It say yeah, it sounds so yeah in sema ekoswa intwe yikra. For what you are watching on the screens, no, encophobia as someone nam kwan ho aka echo. But then you'll be shocked to the bone because we are learning says encophobia, you know, omo efi the Ghana's border, Niger for Burkina Faso for Nigeria for. In fact, we see a person oba Ghana na sebio passport ni niema ebe ya odinya odi ebomodi akopie Ghana border esu kopie wa immigration officers see something small for the boys ebe ma we rim na no na certain concerned citizens as started complaining say niema ekoso no enye because they be ebe da sorry na kron no ekoso a kron no nketin ekoso no sankofu ya no mo be yes ade no we bring them, we don't vet them, we don't scrutinize them, and they come into the country, all they do is still commit shower prostitution and I say armed robbery ebimu kraba be stress adie. Now you really can share the first video of a gun in Libya or sporting a vehicle or purchases every Monday or so no e be loading for Niger ene beni ni ade no mo ba krom ha se ya omo nya adwuma bi o bone ene se bi ade sresre no mbesre videos na twa so e be di kan hwe first one ye ba you better also with other subsequent ones. So let us just check the first video out. For we will dive more into the other aspects of this particular video.
Salim, you must be very careful. No, Ghana immigration. Share Sakaway, some particular car way. Every week, and it's only there for the Mali phone. Look, I hire a man. Yeah, I hire a man. And then so for the one about my baby won't go on. We are not safe and Salim, you must be very careful. No, Ghana immigration.
Okay, so anyway, there's another person so a video we start say hit it on social media no can say asimu ya kan ema sebiu yet now here hwe han sabe no kre according to him onu podi video ya kwakwo hwe ya na ewo screen so ebeja voice na tum no part say nini ekopie mu ewo Ghana's border na de owu ya ne de eseweni
this Niger guys they are going again. You see, these are Niger, they are all from Niger. They are entry Ghana. They are all entry Ghana. They are from Niger, and they are entry Ghana. They are from Niger, but they are all entry Ghana. What is happening? These people, what are they coming to do in Ghana? These guys, see them? They are all from Niger with their wives. See them, plenty. This is the Bangladesh self-tone. So what happened is that the customs, they will stop at the customs, and then all of them will get down from their car. Then the customs will only deal with their cars. Is it they are from Niger? So the bus is coming. That is the bus coming. The bus there. That's the bus. The bus is coming. What is happening? They will stop at the customs and then they will stop at the custom and then they will not do anything properly. It's never the good thing. It's never a good thing to do. You see?
Okay, so that was this particular complaint and Ghana or patch says the way Nkofu a backronym and in fact we just no my dress we in Niger for or more color no more dressing or say you notness or more dresses but or more dressing a stylish kakra but we move the ultimate Niger straight into nanti if enough ho abankan abesra de e bimusu omu a omo ye evil people a omo ba be bo apo abokron no said, Amajide can say you baby a cool baby because crowdy a dorsal. But then back Ghana, abe ya dia boy minor, ababe bobra papa. We don't have issue. But you coming in to do something bad, no, a honor issues nina ewo. So that is the issue. Air Koswa, Ghana for be air kasa. And then definitely you need indemnity, share the air course. Therefore, me can say Reverend Owusu Bempah had a serious message about His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You can share video babaka. We have a breaking news about BB Ekoso Kaswa market ashe. Kaswa market ashe. Now the question ye be say na every year be starting year na. After the market she last year was Kantamanto. Last 2 years was a friend is saying we Kumasi market crime refinity. Kumasi market she a kini Japan munina echo adding every year be a start year be a market eshe. Yen show video e babaka eti for ye beto aso.
Osofo papa baby a onyame wo where God is the onyame beka so do man na hyenensa the one about whom God will say He has put in charge of this nation. He is the one God connects me to. And then I take certain steps spiritually with them. That is how God has made us. And so the one who leads the nation is the one I support with prayer. Because he is the one God has given to this nation in this time. So he is the one I throw my support, my weight, and I pray for. So that he will live long. The protection of God good health will be upon him. He will have good health. So that he can lead the nation well. So that things would improve. So if there's any prayer I have, I pray for the president of Ghana. Not what somebody is about to do. When it gets to the turn of someone else, and God connects me to that person, it is the same thing I will do for the person. But right now, in this time, in this nation, at this time, the leader God has given this nation, he is the one I pray for. And it is the president of Ghana, His Excellency, the vice president, John Dramani Mahama, his family, the vice president and ministers. This is not politics. But I am concerned about the progress of my nation. God said to me that I have called you for Ghana. And I will take you to many nations of our world. But I've called you for Ghana. I've called you for kingdoms and for governments. That is what God said to me. That was the prophetic word God gave me through my spiritual father, Bishop Kwame. Now in those days, that was the prophetic word I received everywhere I went to. Everyone who prophesied to me will say that Pastor Isaac, God said He has called you for kingdoms and governments. And in that time, my understanding about the prophetic word was inadequate. God said, I will win souls to myself through you. Through you, I'll do and establish my purpose. But I've called you for Ghana, your country. And I've called you for kingdoms and governments. So if you see me doing things like this, don't be worried. That is my calling. Now, if you hear me say that I have thrown my weight and I am praying for the president of Ghana, don't be worried. It is part of my call. Not because I am in search of something. Or not because somebody gives me so much. I am just doing what God has asked me to do. Like Prophet Samuel, God called him for kingdoms and governments and his people. He anointed Saul, and Saul became the king. We would have said today that Saul became the president. He anointed David, and David became the president. It was the ministry of Samuel. So do not be worried. Now, it does not mean someone was getting involved in politics. That was the kind of ministry Daniel had. So when I speak about the president, please understand why I do so. Hallelujah. Amen. When you go before the Lord, pray for the president of Ghana. And let God continue to use him to do the good works that he is doing. Continue to do the good work. Good work without blemish. Good work without blemish.
Without blemish.
Yes. Spotless. I admire his humility. I admire the way he organizes himself. I admire his government. I admire the way he talks. He went to church. And when he went to church, there was a seat preserved for the president. And that was the seat he and his wife were supposed to sit on. But when he went there, he didn't go and sit on that chair. He didn't sit in the midst of the elders. He didn't sit amongst the pastors. He's the president of Ghana. He sat in the congregation. In the congregation. Like a member of the church.
But
he's president.
Republic of Ghana.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
A whole president.
The president himself. He went to church and he sat in the midst of the congregation.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Also, when your friend but make a fact.
But this is an example of humility.
Now,
he does not make himself or think of himself more highly than he ought to. He wouldn't say to you, he wouldn't say to you, before you address me, stand on your feet.
Hallelujah.
Amen. He's working hard. Putting things right. He's working very hard. So are you aware that many presidents of the nations of our world want to link up with him? Papa. People have enjoyed so much this Christmas. You bought so many groceries. You enjoyed.
So that was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Nana Owusu Bompa Ebona Baso. Video na wo hwe echi no video na te say ebra president ekwa asori te say asori okọ ye no po no ye man akonya se ontena se ose de bi obetena ni penim. This shows you the humility Reverend Owusu Bompa parties ohun bi da enkane no na Ghana ye president bi mimboni din wo ye fast obehu sa president okọ bi oni hwan na obetena se achia no se bi wo ye paralyzed na say nemu ebubu e was so sorry chia na ane because ono the president sa pepe no pass enen de entisa odi obu your president odi obu eni ahombrase emanipa. We will come back to that issues. Waiting for we screens no so what you are seeing no oja ato baby. Unfortunately we kaswa market na kaswa de in fact kaswa de entan hisa. But then you see a film 2 days and you say a whole edere. Now there's been a whole lot of things so and many angles among people complaining say we know as a baby boom. But before then you share what really happened because a bridge to some people are more for fire service. But fire service from one of my category then more holidays and same P. But before then no share a year the beginning of sa ijashishi anyhow the bibia gidigidi ya babaka etifo ya beto aso.
Come on! Come on! Commander! Carry! Yes! Who are you carry? Who are you carry? Answer. Pressure! 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 Stand down where we are. And I come.
Okay, so here for video I'll share a part of Kaso she you can see say devastation that is a bad. Now you kwa share video because ebimu ebisas eba ne ejanti mehye currently enim de ma ejano ehye but according to one more anomo ho resident ene omo mudidwa omo patch say adini estyle say ejansa say ehye no omo di kan free Ghana fire service so omo mbra betie for osha ejano esi somewhere around the second first mu ho in say yenuanu omo most of them were holidays na Ghana fire service there yenim ni the holidays yes anka muni holidays any hweye what yes because eja de eba enkra yenko tie sema paid to just adini see ye na free Ghana fire service for omo fa omo fo yenim so omo holidays anade na omo ba ye so no insu a e what tank di mu no insu na sa insu bi wa haya ekwana eji so bi na shinwa ma wa ha o wan na jana tom na edeko ye fra na makati ko no e jana ye fra makati ko no ka ba ka isoponi isoni ye tell say jana so amo na mo fo you go isono kwasa ya bomboka nyama lo na ngofo ajom da to nyama ni nya ase bomboka obi ma me ya femo ya muntie kakawai ndi mu kan tudo ya fa muntie ya mumba da se chairman we ya ndi kwa me o'clock ya boss short time see ya boss na midina the time I was 6:34 1 year na midina mi dunja 1 na midina mi dunja 6:34 no 1 o'clock here we do that no find the mother they job ka bosume they job ka bosume that the boy driver it's here for a sad na de eku mo esen twa mo yem nsu no say omo baaye no first car omo de baaye na empty. In fact, you think about these things. So we have a president, so he wants to help the country. Meanwhile, the people, when you know social media, you bomb Mahamadin. Oko Twitter CCR, MPP first started the year propaganda say Mahama ebreso ejapo yintimi do. Meanwhile, the fire service they are being paid. E ban is ne eja to kaso aka na mode kono mo koye car no insuo no ewo mu no ketekete inti mo so ye pe na insuo ne saye. How you took an empty car for so buy ya pump na mode pump insuo no emba etifo when your partisan politics so you can't blame Mahama for this. Now menuka say the MP Felix na call your for wutu senya East Kaswa okoho but before then no ebi money fire service for omo grant interview tin say omo di tujo ye ba ni akoti MP na enum nsem
the better assessment with other authorities fire for any other institution na you share the cost of the fire the bia na yes e bia e come na ya ye the journey started around 4 something. Was it? But you say the journey now down. I can't give you the idea of you go to a year. It's a young MP. In fact, youth in one market are saying, I'm boy, papa. I one time for no any other, youth for no boy, pure water, no more swa, tender, fire tender, no ban swasa, me night, you're moving now, youth in one market are saying, no more body. In fact, Oma ya de ye be recommend you be obe boy ye ma eja no the ye MP so ye be danasi honorable now for your ye be danasi say e ba ni sa no na apronfo so de omaji ma shops are wa ohia anka enka no omo start omo bubu eni ti no ye MP every police force so aya de omodudo na ba market mu a o ti say police for kwampo eso bi eboa say eja no ye be dum eja na omo kuta pure water in fact ye do bibiasi any more media force better mercy any at one change mama
Immediately after this particular statement, sorry, and the MP Phyllis now call your Edin Simbi Ebe Tuja or Pache say Adene Diaba, but then they are really working swiftly to make sure that at the end of the day, wow, Onyema Ewo Nyema She and wow Onyema count because do dona aji loan. Obi aji loan Nyema no konto mu 10%. And ejana she no insurance, nothing. Yenti Sema Phyllis now call your Edi Tuja.
Okay, Mama Payanko. And then anyway, Yanti Asempa, market, take as well. We say Kaswano, major activity and economic activity. Your market has now your new market is one of the biggest markets we can even boast of in Africa. Now, and then you bring, as I said, now, you percent in the first place. You don't want to say, more markets are say, Johnny to in all aspects, I'll make me a normal quiet to tell the journal as I said, fire for the air. We want to thank the fire service and so, and no more dinner or more boys. So far, there were 6 fire attendants. I will say, our neighbors, any Ghana may normal say, a jar at new markets. They all dispatch their fire attendants. It's here, yes, also that your police force, they have provided us with adequate security. Who said normally during disasters like this, Ayana in crawling some in kitten so the security is one. Then we also thank the MCs, almost some of the Navy and other constituencies almost all quiet. We want to thank everybody, all well-meaning Ghanaians, especially to the media. Meaning I know the role that the media has played in this thing. Will be breaking news. People have called for support for which is in his constituency. So each of that is done. So we'll be here until say who said a journey na a 2 chakra. So we are here with the market women. We are here to console with them. We know that it's a very difficult situation. They are aware someone called Jim don't say they are talk near Mount they are aware everything is gone. But all I can say is that we are here together with them and we are in this situation together with them. The government is here to support them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, until we na a year Phyllis na koye MP for which senior is Kaswa or the two. Therefore, we will end the live stream here. It's 3 minutes to 10 p.m. We thank you so much for joining us. We will come your way again with more news. God bless you and thank you so much for watching.